Welcome to Cardinal's Introduction to PDCA. As we start, your first question might be, what does PDCA do? It's a standard way to improve your work. It's simple and applies to a variety of situations. It can be used by individuals, by teams, and by organizations. Sounds great, right? But what does PDCA stand for? Well, PDCA stands for the 4 steps in the process: plan, do, check, and act. Once we complete those steps, we close the cycle by going back to the plan step. You might ask yourself, how do I use it? Well, that's a great question. We'll cover the steps one at a time so that you can use them yourself. First, let's talk about the plan part of PDCA. The first part of plan is to identify the problem or issue that needs to be addressed. You should describe it in plain language. Then, describe how the problem is produced via a process or a situation that occurs. After that, identify the possible causes for the problem, then narrow those down to the most likely root cause. Identifying a root cause can be a little tricky. One way to work through that is to identify your problem and ask, why does that happen 5 times? Let's use this example. You have a problem. Your car won't start. Why? Well, your battery is dead. Why? It seems that your alternator isn't working. Why? You find that your alternator belt is broken. Why? It appears that the belt was old and should have been replaced. Why? You haven't been following the recommended maintenance schedule. The solution is that you should maintain your car according to recommendations. So the fact that the car won't start stems from the root cause that the car isn't being maintained properly. See all those steps in between? That's a root cause analysis using the 5 whys method. So back to plan. Once you identify a root cause, then it's time to create your plan. As you plan, set a target for improvement. For example, if your problem is that your clients are arriving late to community ed classes, your target might be to have clients arrive on time to classes 100% of the time for 3 months. You should also identify who will do what and when. This builds accountability into your action plan so that you can track your progress. This is very important. So ask yourself this: what kind of measurable targets would we use for the following types of problems? Medication administration would probably use medication error rates. Client behavior might refer to how many target behaviors are observed per day, per week, or per month. Staff turnover might simply be how many staff leave a department per month or per quarter. A client being late for work might have a target for being on time a percentage of days per month. Staff tardiness might be addressed with a target for 0 late starts for a month or for a quarter. You might want to talk with your coworkers and supervisor to consider targets that are a good fit for you. Time to move on. The D in PDCA stands for do. It might appear small, but the important thing here is to carry out the plan that you thoughtfully assembled in the plan phase. This might take a day, a week, or much longer. Each plan is different, and times to implement them can vary greatly. Sometimes during the do phase, you might conduct spot checks to see if your problem has changed or has been impacted. It is important to also monitor progress on your plan to stay on time and to ensure that all steps are completed as prescribed. After you implement your plan, it's time to check. Remember those targets you set when you were planning? Well, let's see how you did. Are things better? Did you meet your target? Your plan should tell you how soon and how frequently to check your performance against your target. You should check at intervals that make the most sense for your measure. So you've made a plan, you've carried it out, and you've checked if you've made a difference. Now what? Well, it's time to see if you should act again. Reflect on what you've learned. Did the plan work? Why or why not? Do you need to do something different? If things did work, can you do more? What will it take to continue to get good results? It's time to make another plan to continue improvement. That's it. Now remember, keep it simple. Start thinking about when you and your team can use PDCA. Talk about it with your supervisor or at a staff meeting. And the next time you encounter a problem, Consider using a structured PDCA approach to make things better.